So I wanted to do a little bit different video today. I wanted to talk about my book collection. I've previously, in another video, shared my tea collection and tea books. So I wanted to go through gardening and landscaping books that we have in our library, and maybe there's a little few book recommendations within it, but a lot of them are just part of a collection. Some of them I've inherited from family, and some of them I've found at an antique store that are really special. And I just like books, so I'm gonna see if I can get them all up here. I think I have at least a dozen at this point, and then I'll talk about them, and maybe they'll be something you find interesting. Maybe they'll be something you want to look into for book recommendation wise. But I think it's going to be a fun one. So we got our little library set up here, kind of surrounded by collectibles and books. We got armchair if we ever want to sit and read. We'll often get comments, fascinated comments when we have visitors over. People kind of look around and are like, oh, this is cool. Okay, so clearly I don't have enough. There's only 27. I think we're gonna kind of rapid fire this tour and to show these books. The first one I'll show is Eyewitness Handbooks, Trees. This one, Visual Guide to More Than 500 Species of Trees from Around the World. Got a lot of great information and really good pictures. And I'm sure that there's modern additions to some of these books that I have in the collection. Let's see here. I think this one said it was 1992 edition. Trees. And we got a marijuana book. I haven't really read this one, but I'm sure it's got lots of good information. So this is a 2012 edition. And then we got America's Wild Woodlands. Lots of amazing images. I think this one was from 1985. Yeah. Then we have several books from Sunset and their Western Garden and Landscaping series. This one what edition is this? $19.97. And then we've got two different editions of the same Western gardening book. I think this is a later edition, and the other is an earlier edition. This is the 2001 edition. And this one was my dad's when I was a little kid, and I drew pictures in it. This one is... This says it's the 5th printing in 1990. And then here's dates for the earlier editions. So this series of books goes back to at least 1954. That's pretty cool. Then we got the biggest one, the garden book. This one's more about landscaping. And this is the year 2000. We got Southern California Gardening at Welsh. This is also from 2000. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Next up we got Complete Guide to Water Gardening. This is from 1997. It's all about ponds and different systems. And we got Gardening with Herbs. Got some stamps in here. And then this one is from 1997. Seems like it's a broad overview on different kinds of herb gardens you could create. Lots of good imagery. Gives me kind of a Pinterest vibe, because there's lots of good inspiration here. Then we got a couple Japanese gardening books. This is 1996. There's lots of bamboo in here, that's cool. Here's the other one. This one's from 1993. Really beautiful pictures. I tried to make a smaller scale version of this with the raking of the sand or stones, and it was beautiful when it was while I had it, but it kind of had constant upkeep, and I didn't expect that because it would get leaves all over it, and I'd have to kind of reset it all the time. So it kind of takes a certain kind of mindset to maintain one of these Japanese gardens. Then we got some herbal medicine books. This is kind of the encyclopedia, the big version, and this is kind of the handbook version from the same author. And this is a really cool book. Where is, let's see, 3rd edition, 2016 is what this says. Yeah, this is just a super cool book if you want to get really nerdy about herbs. That's just kind of the run and gun version. When was this published? Might have been the same time. 2018 is this edition. The first edition was 2007. Then we got Field Guide to Urban Gardening, Kevin Espiritu. Signed edition. And this was 2019. This is a pretty cool book. This was a gift for me. He has another book out that I want to get. But this is a cool book. And this one is another cool book among all the other cool books here. This is Epic Tomatoes, and it's all about tomatoes, as you might have guessed. Let's see. This was This says 2015. Craig LaHuler. LaHuler? He is a tomato expert. I believe he's developed a bunch of different varieties of tomatoes, and he knows so much there is to know about tomatoes. So if you want a deep dive tomato lore, this is a good book for you. Really spectacular pictures too. So these are a couple books that I'm working on right now. This is from David the Good. He has a bunch of books on gardening, and especially in Florida. This is 2021. It's not a very long book, so I don't have much excuse for not having finished it yet. And this is another one. This is from Steve Solomon, Waterwise Gardening. I think I haven't finished these because I've just been jumping around to so many different things. It's that ADHD. This is 2021. I think it came out... I think this was re-released. I think David the Good was like working with Steve Solomon to get this re-released. That's why it's under the Good Books, because I think Good Books is David the Good's kind of publishing arm. This has a lot of good information in it. And then I have several foraging books that I got recently that I'm very excited about. This is Foraging Southern California. It's all about different things you can forage here in California. Oh, and I've got these little, I learned about these from a friend. These are little book darts. They're like little bookmarks, but they're metal. They're very cool. So I put those in a bunch of pages that I want to come back to. This is a mushroom foraging book. And this one tries to go to great lengths to help you understand how to forage mushrooms and not be afraid to do it. You just have to know the specifics. And even with this book, I'm not an expert. But this helps me feel a lot better about figuring out what types of mushrooms are actually edible and why. And which ones are definitely not. Grab my other foraging book off my book stand here. This one's really cool. This one is very, very cool. This one has more in it than you could even imagine. This is, let's say when it came out. I'm blind. I got it within the last year or so. Oh, here we go, 2023. I have a lot of things marked in this book. It breaks down what's edible, what specific parts of it are edible. Sometimes it has recipes, like how to use them, and a lot of things have, most things, if not all, have nutrition notes. This is probably one of my favorites right now. It's very cool. Certain things will have notes, like if you're sensitive to anything, it might call that out as something to avoid if you are sensitive to certain things. But this is a super, super cool book. That's why it's on my book stand right now. These books were my grandmother's, who recently passed. She was 97 years young. And these, I think, are all 2013. 2014. So they're all part of a collection, but they're not all the same year. So we've got perennials, gardening essentials, and better gardens, less work. Mom told me that we got to keep these books in the family because they were my grandmother's. I completely agree. These are also very cool books. So the last few I have are not that big. These are children's books. We've got Plant a Seed and See What Grows. These ones kind of just found their way to me. So I'm like, okay, they can become part of the collection. And then what to do with what you grew. I don't think these have dates in them, but they must be recent. These are cute. Very short, but cute. Oh, the date's in the back. Oh, maybe there's different editions of these too. 2016, 2020, and so this one must be 2022. Or that's at least when they renewed the copyright. Alright, one more. So this is one that I got at the antique store. And it is called Garden Rubbish. This has got a lot of Britishisms in it. It's a very sarcastic book from 1936. Go through a bit of this just to show you what I'm talking about. When I found this, I got a kick out of it. It's got a lot of comic style imagery and a lot of tongue-in-cheek tips for gardening and landscaping and such. It's a very silly book, so I wanted to end on this one. Let me see if I can find one of the really silly ones. Potato fly. It's literally looks like a potato with wings. So yeah, this is a pretty silly book. Very across the pond humor. So anyway, that's the collection in its entirety right now. 27 books and counting. Clearly not enough. Clearly we need to keep adding to the collection. So if I acquire more rare or interesting books, I'll probably do more videos about them. So I hope you liked that, and maybe there's some books that you want to seek out after learning about them or look into. Let me know in the comments if any of these books you want to know more information about, and I will try and answer those questions. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.